Hey everybody, welcome to WeTalkinHockey, and we've been talking about the Knights a bit, and they've been pretty crazy right now, so I think we've got to talk a bit about the Knights, but you know what? Fuck the Knights, honestly. Like,
oh man, you gotta. Damn it.
Yeah, they got this magic fairy dust in their back pocket. Like, they're crazy to watch. They got lots of speed, man.
Yeah.
But one guy I'm really curious about isn't even on the team. Is George McPhee, man.
Georgie.
I want to know, do you think he's redeemed himself with the Golden Knights this season?
Oh, like his reputation around the league? Fuck, man, that's a good question. I guess because look at what they're doing. This is like every part of the organization has something to do with the team's success, like the coaching, the players, and George McPhee and his staff of super fucking pro scouts because they picked a hardworking team that works well together. I don't know, man. He's made some bonehead trades because everyone's talking about the Forsberg trade, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's a
good
big thing
question.
too.
That's a
but
good question.
you know what? He was a GM in Washington for 17 fucking years.
17 years?
That's a long time without winning, man. Not only
he was
that,
in there for 17 years, like GM, like top dog.
GM, yeah, top
not
dog,
even
man.
just like
top dog.
You know, washing the plates and shit like that. He was just the GM for 17 years.
Well, he was with the Canucks, like an assistant GM role, or an associate president role, or something like that in the early 90s.
Yeah,
and then he got hired on in Washington. Went to the Cup final in the first year, got swept by Detroit, and then it was a long time of being mediocre, man, before they got Ovechkin.
That would never happen with me as a fan.
No.
The team was fucking that inconsistent and that up and down, and like he got lucky then, because if he didn't get Ovechkin, then he would have been fired early. Like, who knows, man?
Yeah.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. 17 years?
It's a long time.
That's ridiculous.
One other thing I find crazy, too, so there's a few gems in league history who've gone 20-plus seasons and never won a cup. I think Bobby Clark's won. But another one is David Poile, man. David Poile.
David Poile.
Another one is David Poile.
David Poile. Yo, that's what I was thinking, too. We give all this credit to David Poile. I mean, if they get eliminated tomorrow or tonight, whenever this video comes out, bro, like you said, one cup final, 20 years, but he has built a pretty good team.
One thing I didn't know until recently was that David Poile was actually the GM in Washington before McPhee got hired.
Dude,
does that blow your mind, man?
This is crazy.
So, I mean, we could have two GMs in the final four teams.
Yeah.
Who have never won a cup in like almost 50 years combined.
Yeah, 50.
It's pretty crazy.
37. No, because George McPhee would, like, other teams.
Yeah.
Bro, this is
man.
crazy, man. This is crazy. Like, the general manager position is just, like, an interesting position in hockey, in all sports, really, but especially in hockey, because, like, there's so much transition. There's always GMs getting fired.
Yeah.
There's always assistant GMs getting promoted. Always, like, old GMs getting brought back, like, old players. It's crazy. It's a weird position. Yo, that guy, Tom Waddell, right?
Don Waddell. The dream team's back, man. The dream team's back in Carolina. The Thrashers' dream team.
Carolina brought back some fucking horrible reputation to their GM staff. It's a bit of an interesting move, but the owner doesn't even want to pay the GMs, right? So Tom Waddell or Don Waddell, whatever this guy's name is, he's probably like, I'll take any contract, I guess. Because Lawrence Gilman declined that shit.
Maybe Don Waddell's got like a gambling problem. Or maybe he's like addicted to buying suits or something, man. Dude, maybe just a guy who just likes to blow his cash. He's like, fuck it, man. I need to work. I'm going to take $300,000 a year.
$300K for I GM a team for $300K.
I'd do it. Yeah, we're for hired.
Tom
Dundon. What's up?
Oh, man. Where were we? Oh, so, like, look. Do you think he's redeemed himself?
It's 1 year is tough, but I think it's funny. There's this narrative in hockey with players where it's all about what have you done for me lately. It's a very short-term mindset, and often that works against players. Guys in a slump, people are usually ripping on him, even though he's probably been pretty decent the last couple of years. With the GMs, it's almost the opposite. So what George McPhee and David Poile have done lately is kind of erased years of not doing very well.
And both like similar beginnings too. I know like Jimmy McPhee is in like the early part of his tenure as an expansion general manager. David Poile, same thing. Like, not same thing, but he came from an expansion franchise. I don't know, man. That's an interesting like, parallel they got there. But I think I don't know, man. George McPhee, what he's done this year and what his staff has done, it's remarkable in all sports. It doesn't just fit in the NHL's history book. This like speaks for like every sport, I think, because they're doing some crazy shit. Whether or not they got lucky in the expansion draft when teams panicked and made them shitty fucking trades, getting rid of some shitty fucking players like Riley Smith and William Karlsson were traded to the Vegas Golden Knights so they wouldn't pick other players on their respected rosters. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. And maybe they got lucky doing that, but man, the Golden Knights, they're doing remarkable. There's remarkable. That one, like, we may not see that again. An expansion team, Trevor, is in the Final Four. the first year.
Yeah. When Seattle comes into the league, I think GMs are going to be smarter the second time
100%.
around. I think about this as well. George McPhee, he made some bad trades when he was in Washington.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe a little bit angry. He's like learned from his mistakes a bit. He's an angry dude. I mean, I feel shit talking about George McPhee on the show.
Why?
This guy's punched a motherfucker out before, man.
George McPhee's punched people in the face? He played in the NHL?
Who was it? It was back in the 90s. He punched out a coach.
He played
Lauren
in the
McCulkin.
show? What?
No,
Who is this guy, dude? As an executive? George McPhee, why has he been in the league for so long? Is like he respected? Can anyone get a job in there? Yo, he's had so many chances, man. Like, he hasn't had really like successful teams as far as playoff success goes, but he's always been a fucking executive in the league. And on top of that, he's punched a coach or something now I'm hearing. This is crazy, dude. How come this guy survived?
He's an angry dude. I'm worried if he watches this and we're talking shit about him, he's going to come find us. If Vegas doesn't win the cup, he's just going to be an angry
he'll have that
fucker.
little, George McPhee smirk.
Yeah.
I don't think he gives a fuck. He's still getting jobs. Who cares?
When you come back from trading Philippe Forsberg for Martin Erat, I mean,
that's
you
true.
can come back from anything, man.
That's true.
But honestly, with Washington, so the first year they went to the Cup, and then they were one of those tweener teams for years, man. Yeah. They were never good enough to make the playoffs or do any damage. I think there was 8 years in a row between when they made the Cup Finals and when they drafted Ovechkin. Those 8 years, they made the playoffs 3 times, lost in the first round every time.
They sucked. They're crap. They're crap. They had crappy jerseys, which are kind of cool now. But back then, I didn't like the jerseys.
I like the jerseys now better.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Although, like Ole Kolze,
Ole the goalie.
Like Ole the goalie, man. David Poley and Rolly the goalie. When Olaf Kolzig was wearing those like Washington jerseys, man, I loved it. Even like Bonjour and JAGR, that's a good throwback.
Yeah, straight up.
But I mean, that's another crazy trade. I know you mentioned it briefly about JAGR. George McPhee traded Jaromir JAGR straight up for Anson fucking Carter. He traded for Anson Carter. He was boasting about how happy he was because washed up 30-year-old goal scorer who couldn't score without the Sedins.
Yeah.
And then he flipped him 20 games later for a player who never played in the NHL after that.
Yeah, George McPhee's kind of fucked. Okay,
he literally traded Jaromir JAGR for nobody.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. George McPhee, this conversation's kind of crazy, man. Dude, who knows what happened?
He's had a crazy past.
Like, George McPhee's legacy got saved by other general managers being stupid. Maybe that's what we're saying.
Yeah, Dale Talon resurrected George McPhee.
Oh man,
that's what it is, man. That's pretty much what happened. Like, that's what George McPhee owes Dale Talon like a lifetime of gratitude.
What's that dude's name? The Columbus GM.
Oh, Jarmo Kekakainen. Yeah, Kekaplainen.
He owes that guy some shit too, man.
Yeah. He was crazy, man. But I mean, the Knights are in a crazy spot now, and I think McPhee still made, you could say, some questionable deals. And even after the expansion draft, like how many people thought, wow, this guy knocked it out of the park. This team's going to kick ass. No one really thought that at the time.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of surprising players. They've really gelled as a group. Like, you look at that defense.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck. Like, Brayden McNabb, Derek England, Colin Miller. Who would have thought any of those guys were going to be,
there's a lot of things
team
going
to conference final.
There's a lot of things going on there, like good chemistry. The locker room is probably a fun place to be right now.
They're popping champagne after every win, man. They're going back to the 70s.
There you go. Maybe that's
Esposito style.
Maybe that's what it is, because they're like having such a great time, like after practice and shit, being in Vegas, always happy. That cool air just getting blasted on you the whole time.
Just walk out and get that.
Who knows, man? The Vegas Golden
man.
Knights. I'm glad we dedicated this whole video to parts of their success.
To trashing George McPhee.
I know, but crazy story, man.
Yeah, they're nuts, man. I mean, I still hope they get knocked out in the conference final, because fucking I'm sick of this shit, man. It's just a nice story. It's too fucking.
Don't be nice, man. I think it's cool, man. Whatever, man. History.